Hey movie geeks, I hope you're having a good day. 1995's Casino is a classic crime drama that has captivated audiences and influenced other filmmakers for decades. From the master that is Martin Scorsese, this movie is a gangster masterpiece with an ending that is both powerful and also ambiguous in moments. Let's take an in-depth look at the ending of Casino and attempt to both analyse and explain this stunning culmination. The ending of Casino contains Scorsese's patented visual language, and just as he has used it to convey emotions and ideas throughout the rest of the movie, the ending is no different. The camera becomes a fly on the wall and masterfully wraps up the fate of each character. I've always really enjoyed Scorsese's approach to endings. His style is so novelistic, and that perfect way he connects everything together is so seamless and flows so well. And it has you on the edge of your seat because you've been so invested in the story from the beginning. We witness people getting whacked and killed to the beat of the House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, and as always, Scorsese perfectly uses popular music, and this song creates such a haunting and looming mood. It offers a perfect backdrop for a gradual loss of status and success. The editing is superb. As each shot goes by, more and more people suffer the consequences of what we've seen through the film, until it finds its way back to Ace and Nicky. And of course the song eventually slows down and comes to a head as Ace enters his car and an attempt is made on his life. The film messes with our expectations, as Ace in fact survives, but only because of a manufacturing irregularity unique to his particular vehicle. So while we're expecting everyone to meet a brutal fate, Ace, or Sam, whatever you want to call him, his ending is instead not violent, but a loss of his success and status, being forced to live out his days as an intimidated man, being taken down from his pedestal, and that is perhaps worse for Ace than the fate of death. During his ending voiceover, Ace explains that capitalism has now hijacked the casinos. The criminals have been replaced by impersonal corporations. The rock and roll feeling and Wild West rules have been replaced by strict by-the-book procedures and commercial goals. Ace explains the casinos have become boring and a loud operatic score plays in the background as the casino buildings collapse and burn, being replaced by what he describes as Disney World. This part of the ending is epic and represents a real changing of the guard. They show that nothing lasts forever and the criminal lifestyle is always lived on a knife edge. Ace obviously saw himself as someone who fought back against the establishment, and this is a central theme of a lot of gangster films. The gangsters do not actually feel bad about what they do because they see it as taking back control from the man, and when the power is taken away from them, they don't regret their actions in the gangster life. They more so continue to resent the people at the top of society, believing them to be the reason they had to take extreme measures to climb to the top in the way that they did. That final shot of Ace sitting alone is a very powerful image, perfectly conveying his fall from grace, as he is now isolated, vulnerable and normal, everything he never wanted to be. Like pretty much all of Scorsese's films, Casino is a cautionary tale. Even though Ace gains everything and becomes untouchable, he ultimately ends up as a sad, lonely man with nothing left. Robert Deniro, of course the king of facial expressions, takes off his glasses and stares into the camera, and we feel Sam's sense of loss and regret. However, I should make it abundantly clear, in my humble opinion, as I said earlier, Sam is not regretful of the terrible things he did in the casino, and is not feeling a sense of loss for the people he manipulated or hurt. Instead, he regrets that it had to end, and that he messed it all up. And as he asks, why mess up a good thing, in regard to his new life, for me there is a sense of sarcasm beneath that statement, where deep down Sam is itching to mess up a good thing.
But in the end, I wound up right back where I started. I could still pick winners, and I could still make money for all kinds of people back home. And why mess up a good thing? And that's that.
I never thought I'd care so much watching Joe Pesci's character Nicky's fate unfold. I mean, he's a terrible person all through the film, but Scorsese's genius approach to this final scene is to not compromise on the brutality, and we can't help but sympathise as Nicky is forced to watch his brother beaten to death. The fact he now has no power and is reduced to a whimpering bloody mess, you can't help but feel sorry for him. This scene is a visceral reminder of the violent, out of control and vile corruption that underpins the world of Casino. The violence in this scene is devastating. We see almost every shot land on Dominic's body as Nicky watches, his anger quickly morphing into sadness as he realises before his eyes He is going from a figure who was once feared to just another casualty. The camera is handheld and follows the horrific events very intimately, forcing the viewer to watch and not letting them, or Nicky, off the hook. The use of close-ups on Nicky's face and the face of his attackers adds to the intensity of the scene. We deeply feel everything that is going on, the scorn and lack of remorse of the men who are finally able to put Nicky in his place, and of course through Pesci's stunning performance, we feel Nicky's helpless downfall. That shot where we see the face of Nicky's brother, bloody, beaten, destroyed, get buried in the dirt, we are forced to watch that. It's one of the most devastating things Scorsese ever filmed. Casino is a great example of why I never think Scorsese glamorizes that life. There's never a happy ending. It's never worth it. Everyone is doomed. Just like Sam, we are left unsure if Nicky felt any regret for the way he lived his life. In those final moments, did all of his terrible actions flash before him in a deep sense of regret? Or was it just all selfish thoughts about his brother and his own fate? Of course you can't blame Nicky for focusing on his brother, but we mustn't forget Nicky has beaten many people to death in the exact same fashion, without feeling an ounce of guilt.
You believe this? 2 fucking days and nights. Fuck me! Fuck me, you motherfucker! Fuck my mother! That's what you fucking tell me!
For Nicky, what these men are doing isn't inherently bad, he just ended up on the wrong side of the beating. It would seem there's no room for regret or reflection or guilt in the world of Casino. You are simply chips at the table, moved around and played, either up or down in the hierarchy, and much like the players in the casino itself, it's a gamble where you'll end up. Sharon Stone's character of Ginger is shown dying too, of a hot dose, likely administered by the mob. Ginger is the most tragic character of the whole film, as her death feels probably the most senseless. The camera lingers on her, and we're forced to engage with how much of a failure Ginger's life was and how everyone around her did nothing to help her. The entire journey of this character sinks in for the audience. Ginger started off as beautiful and charismatic, but her addiction and toxic relationships forbid her from being happy. Her entire arc is another cautionary tale. While Scorsese warns us about greed and power with the other characters, for Ginger, he reiterates the dangers of bad decisions and getting involved with the wrong people, and she is a tragic example of how women can be viewed in this world of greed as objects and prizes instead of actual people. The ending of Casino is a masterful example of cinematic storytelling and one of my favourite endings of all time. Through the use of symbolism, ambiguity, powerful images and performances, Scorsese leaves us with a sense of unease and uncertainty, forcing us to question our own moral compass and the consequences of our action. So what do you think of the ending of Casino and the film itself? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, and if you want to hear me talk more about this classic, click on my full analysis of the film on the screen now. And of course, please consider subscribing for more videos just like this. Thanks for watching, keep on being movie geeks, and I'll see you next time.